A landlord is very frustrated with his tenant for obvious reasons. The eviction moratorium, of course. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. All right, so I have a great article today showing you the problems that landlords are facing when they're dealing with all of the eviction moratorium nonsense that's going on throughout the country. And it's coming to us from NNY 360, and it says, Massena landlord shares frustration about tenant with village trustees. But before I get into this article, go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll keep being able to bring you stories about what's affecting landlords throughout the country and stories about the eviction moratorium. So let's get into it. A Massena landlord shared his frustration with village trustees this week about issues he has had with a tenant who can't be evicted because of the state's eviction moratorium. Robert Peras said the individual had a land contract for a house, but then backed out of the contract, making him a tenant who he said has created nothing but issues. The state currently has a moratorium on evictions until August 31st for tenants who have endured COVID-related hardship. Governor Andrew Cuomo first announced the moratorium on residential and commercial evictions in March 2020 to make sure no tenant was evicted during the height of the pandemic. And believe me, it's about time that all of this ended, okay? Pandemic restrictions are going down. Unemployment is going down. People are getting back to work. Things are returning slowly to normal, okay? And a lot of the population is already vaccinated. So we need to end the eviction moratorium as soon as possible, in my opinion, okay? So, I mean, we're not protecting people at this point. All we're doing is causing issues that, they're trying to push off to the side. And it has the potential to really hurt the economy if they don't fix this ASAP, okay? I cannot get that gentleman out of my home and stop this nonsense. I have a $40,000 house, and he can do whatever he wants to do. I don't want to go home at night and wonder what he's going to do, what he's doing at my place, Mr. Peras said. He said not only can he not evict the individual, but he has also become responsible for bills that haven't been paid and village code infractions racked up by the tenant. What I don't understand is I don't have any recourse on what they do over there. I've been in the rental business for 30 years. I want somebody to tell me when I ever went to the village board because I had a bad tenant. You've never seen me. I've always been able to finally get the individual out, he said. Yeah, and here is part of the problem, okay? So a lot of cities and localities, what they'll do is if the tenant is causing a problem, right, rather than shooting a citation to the tenant, what they do is they find the property owner, in other words, the landlord. So if you have a citation, let's say for your grass being too tall, okay, you'll get fined as the property owner. But if you have a tenant in there who keeps causing these issues where you keep getting these fines, well, guess what? In normal times, you would evict them. Right now, there's an eviction moratorium in place, so that tenant can just sit there and just keep causing problems knowing that you can never kick them out. So you can have real problem tenants in your property racking up fines, costing you hundreds or thousands of dollars, and you can't get rid of them no matter what. This is the kind of problems that are created by an eviction moratorium. It was a different story these days, though. My hands are tied. During these times of COVID, it isn't business as usual because my hands are completely tied. Anything they do over there pertaining to water, sewer, and garbage comes to me. I understand COVID has screwed it all up, but it shouldn't all be thrown on me, he said. Mr. Peras said he has been presented with a $1,000 water bill not paid by the tenant, and there have been code enforcement issues that had to be addressed. Okay, $1,000 water bill, and guess what? If he doesn't pay that $1,000 water bill, they put a lien on his property. Okay, so then he'll have this lien on his property. And this is so ridiculous. All they have to do is be able to get rid of the tenant, but no. It's not like they stopped utility payments. It's not like they stopped the taxes, the property taxes. No, what they do is they say you can't evict the tenant, but you can't take. So basically, you're not taking any income in, and we're going to keep fining you. And the tenant, it doesn't matter if they pay the bills or not. We're going to charge you as the landlord, and we're going to screw you over because we think you have money, and we don't think the tenant does. Whatever, but in the end, when this landlord, if he's not able to pay, that property goes into foreclosure. And that's the worst case scenario, but I see it's bound to happen all over the country in this kind of situation. He had a pile of crap over there. The village had to go over there and clean that up. That cost me $700, he said. He said he would have been cited and potentially fined for the grass being too long if he hadn't taken care of it. They're sending me all the bills that this guy is creating. I can't stop it, he said. Mr. Pera said he had a suggestion if the water bill wasn't paid. Okay, so yeah, I mean, what have I already said? So $700 for a pile of crap that the village had to clean up. The grass isn't being cut. The water bill, got sent to him for $1,000. The guy isn't paying rent. He can't evict the guy. He's getting code enforcement, citations. I mean, this is ridiculous. And I mean, what do they expect a landlord to do? Okay. And all this, we got to keep him in the house. I mean, we don't want to spread the virus. Well, guess what? The pandemic, it's ending. So we can end this now. Help this guy get rid of this awful tenant. I've got a simple answer for that. Turn the water off. I don't want the water going into my building. They can't turn the water off because that's against the law. They're telling me we're not going to turn it off and you're going to pay the bill. That's extortion, he said. If he gets upset at me and runs the water inside the house for a month, has a couple of faucets on, that could be a $2,000 bill. If he keeps running these bills up and you don't want to stop giving him these services, just forget the bills. I don't want them. If the water, sewer, and garbage bill isn't paid, that can be put on the property's tax bill. And if that tax bill isn't paid, Mr. Pera said he could lose the home. Yeah. So this is what it comes down to, okay? The government taking houses from rightful property owners because of some BS. Oh, give me a break. I mean, I can't stand articles like this because it really exposes just how ridiculous all the tenant protections are. And, states like New York have really screwed over a lot of good people, who are landlords and should be allowed to run their business without this sort of interference.